Welcome back to the channel. This is Nicholas from Moralis, and this is the first part of a short tutorial series where we are going to explain how to perform queries in a slightly different way, but a more powerful way, you'll see. And this is the aggregation, the aggregate pipeline. And it can really seem, when you look at this section of the document, it can be a little bit scary. You see complicated nested objects, and you see different things, and you can easily just think, oh, this is too difficult for me. I will just stick to the standard way of making queries. But this series now will try to explain in a simple way how you can use this aggregation pipeline. So as you can see here, it has something called pipeline. And if we go to just any of your servers, for me in this example, I will use the Moralis platform, the Moralis demo that we have in a separate tutorial series. You can use wherever project you want, as long as you have some information in different tables that are somehow linked to each other. Then you can follow along. And we can just go to our cloud functions, and then we can write, if you have any endpoint from before, you can copy that code to save some time, like I'm doing now. Let me see, get item, get out, yeah. So, and then you can just remove everything inside except a query. And if you don't have any cloud functions, don't worry, you can write this syntax, moralis.cloud.define, and then you give it a name. For this example, we could use get aggregation result. And then you make it an async function that you put inside that will be executed whenever this is called. And this can be a capital R. And then you define a query, like we do normally when we are defining a query. And then you specify a table. So if we go to the Moralis, the Moralis demo database, we have some tables here. And for examples, we have this table sold items. So perhaps we want to list items that has been sold, and we want to view like the sold items. So if we query this, so we do sold items, you put that table inside, and then instead of doing for example, await query.find to get all the items, we can specify a pipeline. So const pipeline, and this is really what it sounds like. You have a pipeline with things that are executed in a specific order. So, for example, if you have a long pipe and you put an item inside that pipe, and then you push another item inside that pipe, the order of the items that will fall out on the other side of the pipe is the same order that you put them in. So if we have a pipeline here, and we imagine that this is a pipe, we can put different steps in which sequence this query will be transformed on and be queried on. So for example, you can have one step, filter only from this user. And that will return, that step will filter out everything else except the items maybe bought by a single user. And then maybe also get maybe more information about the item. And then maybe also get the user and put that inside the result. And then maybe only return values we are interested in. All right, so if you imagine that this is a pipeline now, so what happens that if we put this query through this pipeline, and we do this by doing, we can return wait. So we await this query dot aggregate aggregate, yeah, and we aggregate this pipeline and return whatever is left after this last step. We return that to the user. So when we run this, now the pipeline is empty because these are just comments. But if you imagine this pipeline, so you would first only get things from a specific user, then you would try to get things maybe from the items for our sale table and put that inside the result. And then maybe you want to join in the user to get who is the user who bought this item. And then maybe you only want to return, let's say, the price, the username, the token address, the token ID, and maybe when it was bought, and that's it. Then you could filter out that here, and what is left to the user is just that. So it's very, very powerful, and the performance is very good. So if we would save this now, if we copy this, now of course the pipeline is empty. So if we save this, and if we go, for example, to our Moralis site or whatever site is connected to your server, and you can run that on localhost, then if you would go and if you're logged in, you can go to the console, and then you could write await moralis.cloud.run, and you run this, you put the name of the function, and then you run it. And now you get back whatever is left after the execution of the pipeline. Now our pipeline is empty, so what we will get back is just everything inside the table, because we never did any manipulation or filtering in our pipeline. So we just take our items, we put each item through the pipeline, but nothing is changed. So at the end of the pipeline, each item is popping out and we are returning it to the user. So in the next episode, we will consider how we can use the first step, how we can filter things out in when using a pipeline. So see you guys in the next episode, and I hope that you have been able to follow the logic on how a pipeline works, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.